We're back at Universal Studios Hollywood for Battle of the Simulated Screens. That's right, we're checking out all of the different rides here that use simulated screens and putting them up against each other, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the amazing. So we're not going to waste any time today. Let's roll it. First up, we have Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. This is one of the simulated rides here at Universal Studios Hollywood that is one of the most popular for sure. It tends to have a typically pretty high wait time, which isn't a bad thing because I think it's one of the rides where it is well worth it. This dark ride opened here in 2016. The ride created specifically with a robotic arm that takes you on a track system through scenes all around Hogwarts. You get to follow Harry and his friends through various scary and spooky circumstances as you escape various foes such as Dementors. You do get a great glimpse of the Hogwarts grounds, both inside and outside, including the Quidditch pitch. To be clear, this ride is not considered a roller coaster, but again, a dark ride. The ride does drop, spin around, twist, and turn, but the ride itself, while on the arm, does not do any sudden drops or go upside down by itself. Moments that can feel like you're going upside down, you're actually laying flat on your back as the arm spins you through the various scenes, particularly with the Whomping Willow and the Dementors. Now, while this isn't exactly a roller coaster, there is a height restriction of a minimum of 48 inches in order to ride the ride. There is an overhead armrest that you would typically find on roller coasters for this ride. You will have attendants come over and double check and make sure everyone is safely in place. I will say that the screens for Harry Potter and Forbidden Journey are probably the best in the entire park. Putting it up against Simpsons The Ride 3D, Transformers The Ride 3D, and the Minions, again, I think this has the best technology of all of the 4 simulated screen rides. Now, that doesn't mean the other simulated screens aren't good or that they're bad necessarily, but again, I think because this is a newer ride, again, it opened here in 2016, the technology is just a little bit more advanced. So it's a lot clearer than some of the other rides. You don't have as much blur or fading in and out, especially during the transitions between the scenes. So it does feel very seamless as you go from one scene through another, and also the scenes you are in as well. You are able to focus and see very clearly what's going on, and it's so immersive you actually do feel like you're traveling through Hogwarts or on the Quidditch pitch or fighting Dementors. This ride typically makes the top of a lot of people's list, and for good reason, because again, the technology is a lot more current than some of the other rides in today's video. Next up is Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem. Similarly to the Simpsons ride, Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem is a family-friendly animated simulator ride here at USH. It opened in 2014, however, it replaced the Terminator ride called T2 3D Battle Across Time. That ride opened in 1999. This ride does have a pre-show with Gru, Margot, Edith, and Agnes, who welcome everyone into their home and explains exactly what they've been up to. In the ride itself, we have Kevin the Minion, who pulls a special lever that transforms all of us into minions. We then go through a variety of tests in the lab within the house while we try to retrieve Agnes's lost gift. Now, Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem is very similar to the Simpsons ride in terms of like the seating and the way the scene is projected in front of you. It is very large and you're seated not exactly theater style, but there are multiple rows of the individual cars. Now, unlike Harry Potter, you don't move through a track system. Again, you're stationary where your car is and you just watch as the screen moves you through the different zones and the different things that are occurring in the story. Again, because I find it very similar to the Simpsons ride, I typically prefer this one over Simpsons. Number one being there's usually a little bit less of a wait in the queue. It does get a very high wait time because it's so family friendly, but it never is typically as long as the Simpsons ride, which easily starts at 45 minutes to 50 minutes. Most of the time it hits an hour a day. Next up, we have the Simpsons ride 3D. The Simpsons Motion Simulator ride opened in 2008 here at Universal Studios Hollywood, so it is one of the older simulation rides here at the park. Now, that being said, it actually replaced Back to the Future, the ride. So that ride itself has been around even longer because Back to the Future opened in 1991. So you have both a ride and a space that is much older than a lot of the other rides here at the park that are newer, like, for example, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Before entering the ride itself, you do have a couple of pre-shows that take place throughout the queue. Because this ride typically has a very long wait time, the pre-show does make the time go by a little bit faster. The ride itself feels exactly like you are on a ride as the scene opens up with you on a roller coaster with the Simpsons family in front of you, ready to enjoy enjoy before chaos breaks free. You have Sideshow Bob, who takes over and hijacks the entire ride and sends you on a thrilling and crazy adventure through this theme park. Overall, I would say that this is a very fun ride, but you can kind of feel nowadays especially that it is a bit on the older side. The visual technology of the screens is not as sharp as Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, but it's also not exactly the worst on the list. The ride itself, I do feel like a lot of times can feel very jerky and not as smooth. Now, I know they're playing up to the fact that the ride has been hijacked, so it's not supposed to ride very smoothly as the coaster tilts side to side, goes forwards and backwards, literally jolts you all around. But considering how smooth and technologically advanced some of the other rides are that still try to give you the same flavor of being jerked around, I feel like there are a lot of improvements that could be made. Again, I do find that the Simpsons ride is a fun ride, but you will notice if you go from Harry Potter to this one or vice versa, you will notice very distinctly how different the quality is in the images projected through the screens. Next up, we're at Transformers The Ride 3D. Transformers The Ride 3D is another motion dark ride. Similarly to Harry Potter in that you're moving through a system to watch the different scenes unfold, it is not like Simpsons or Despicable Me in that you're actually moving through the facility itself to watch the different scenes take place. Unlike all of the other rides, it is also a 3D ride, so you will receive a pair of 3D glasses before boarding. In the ride itself, you are an Autobot. After a brief conversation with Optimus Prime, you then must protect an Allspark from several Decepticons, including Megatron, who are out to get it. You see a variety of the Transformers characters play out throughout the entire ride, making for, in my opinion, a very fun, very thrilling experience. So Transformers The Ride 3D opened in 2012. Now, although that was before Despicable Me Minion Mayhem, I find this ride to be better than Despicable Me. I would place it probably number 2 right after Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. I think overall, the storytelling of this ride is one of the best here in the park, so you really get a sense of a beginning, middle, and end as you travel through the different scenes that are played out. I also like the fact that it makes you feel more interactive than some of the other rides. Now, while you are incorporated in Simpsons, Despicable Me, and Harry Potter and Transformers, the fact that you have the 3D glasses on and you feel like you're actually in the Autobot really makes it more of an immersive experience. Thank you for watching today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!